Welcome everybody to AI TV. We're broadcasting virtually this year from AI Expo Africa 2020 online. This year, because of COVID, we've all run the show virtually, and we've had people dialing in from all around South Africa, all around Africa, and actually all around the world. So it's been great. We had 23 countries at the show so far, and over 2,000 registered delegates. So it's been a phenomenal success. This is day 2. And it's a real pleasure for me to introduce Tumelo and Esther from Enlabeler. And they're a data labeling company based out of South Africa. And yeah, Esther, Tumelo, welcome to the show. How's it been for you guys?
Thank you, Nick. We are very happy to be here with the full Enlabeler team, part of your virtual conference. And it's been a pleasure and really well organized. Kudos to you and the team for the organization.
Thanks a lot.
No, it's been a great opportunity for us as a very young team, as a startup, to connect to different players in the industry and explain what Enlabeler does. So as you said, we are a data labeling service provider. The first of its kind, based out of township communities in South Africa. And we're trying to actually match the demands of international and local clients that have needs in the data space with our community of labelers, annotators, transcribers, and translators that are part of our database on our platform. And yeah, we try to create jobs, and we are very passionate about making an impact in that regard with the high unemployment figures in South Africa, especially at the moment after COVID.
I mean, it's a great business model that you've got. I mean, I think the clue's in the title, Enlabeler, enabling, as you say, job creation and opportunity for young people, particularly, as you mentioned there, in the township environment. Now, for many people, maybe watching AI TV from around the world, a township environment is essentially a place where previously disadvantaged people live. As you say, there's typically high unemployment, and you, with your business, are going into that environment and saying to people, hey, jump onto the Enlabeler platform, learn about data science, data engineering, and potentially earn money and get a job. So just give us a feel, maybe Tumelo, how many people are on the platform at the moment? How does it work? Do you sign up people as end user labelers? Or they come on as teams? How does it all work?
Yeah, thanks, Nick. And first of all, thanks for having us at the Expo. It's been an exceptional event, and kudos to you and your team. I have to say that our labelers are really at the heart of our business. And so we really ensure that when we talk about sort of creating jobs for those who come from, marginalized or disadvantaged areas, we really mean sort of building a labeler holistically. And so the first phase is just to ensure that we onboard our labelers in the most appropriate way, which is just going straight into labeling. So we have our own platform where a labeler is able to sort of go through the process, sort of an entry-level process of figuring out what data labeling is. And then obviously there's a whole stage of sort of an entire personal development aspect. So we've got awesome sort of partnerships with youth development organizations, as well as companies, AI companies who are also particularly passionate about our cause. Just to ensure that we also combine our domain expertise to ensure that Africa has real professional data annotators, transcribers, translators, etc. So that's almost like the general sort of development and process of onboarding our labelers. We have enough to cater for the rest of the world. Nick, that's the answer.
Wow, that's great. Good to know.
Sort of, that's why we've essentially got domestic and international clients. And one of our unique selling propositions is the fact that we've got such a quick turnaround time, and that's because of our strong workforce. And we realize that companies are in need of data labeling quite urgently, because it is an imperative part of machine learning. In fact, it's 80% of any machine learning process. And so it's really important to us to ensure that we deliver accurate, quality data labeling in a quick and fast way.
Now, I think when I saw the early version, I think when you launched, that actually people can be using their mobile phone to do the labeling as well. It's not just constrained to a laptop. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, we indeed have designed the platform in a very data aligned, especially with the power cuts that we are now in the middle of again in South Africa.
All about that.
Data light platform that is is not a big heavy app that sits on your phone, but that someone with an Android phone or whatever other device they might have can log on to for the test. We develop always mobile web. So it can be both on the web app, on the desktop, or on the mobile we use. And what we see is that for a number of projects that require more domain expertise, like some of our very specialized image annotation projects, is we're gravitating towards a model with squads or teams of domain experts. Yeah. And some of those projects need to be done behind a laptop. And a lot of our people in the database do have a laptop or work for an organization where they can go to one of the centers and work behind a laptop. So we have a mixed bag of projects for both mobile and for desktop, basically.
That's amazing. And Tumelo, I mean, maybe you can give us some examples of some of the projects. I think there was I saw one which was labeling fruit on trees. I think that was maybe an early project where I saw a screenshot a few months ago. Give us some examples. Give some of the viewers of AITV an example of some of the labeling projects that you're involved in. What things you are labeling.
Sure. Obviously, our offering really caters for all industries, or all industries who are interested in machine learning. But interestingly enough, we've had quite a strong appetite for agricultural products or projects. So yes, of course, there was the fruit annotation with the oranges. We've also had a particularly interesting one with pig farmers, with Dutch clients, and it was essentially just looking at the behavior of pigs. Behavior meaning sort of eating, drinking, sleeping. And of course, that's very valuable for a farmer in terms of quick feedback. And that was also involved in sort of image annotation and video annotation, which is one of our core offerings. But my particularly exciting project, I hold this very close to my heart, is natural language processing project that we've been doing for a local client. South Africa actually has 11/12 official languages. And we also go beyond the South African borders. And so there are a lot of companies who are particularly interested in applying that for chatbots. We have a few insurance companies that are also looking at sort of speeding up the process when it comes to filling out forms, and of course sort of speech to text projects. So those are sort of the projects we've been focusing on recently. As I said, natural language processing seems to be a really, really strong offering to the market at the moment. And so, yeah, I would say that's sort of like an overview of the kind of work we've been doing.
Yeah, I mean, I think someone said to me, in Africa as a continent, there are 2,000 languages,
that's right.
Probably including dialects as well. But I mean, that just, if you think about that as a project, that's just huge. And I think there was, I can't remember the statistic I used last year at the show about how much of data will have been generated by 2025. And I think the number, if you stack them as CDs, they'd go to the moon and back 13 times or something. I mean, it's like some crazy amount of data. So I think it's almost like you guys
unfortunately not for Africa. I think unfortunately not for Africa. That data is there, but within the African context, gathering data for Africans, labeled by Africans, is one of our core objectives. So yeah. I think, as Tumelo was just saying about the language offering, unfortunately, there's so many rich languages and dialects, but there's so little stored information.
That's correct.
Let alone digital information that can be used to train those models. So what happens as a consequence of that is that many people are excluded.
That's right.
To a lot of the digital model, to the WhatsApp and to the chat of your insurance company, or maybe healthcare providers, and even if you want to buy something online because they don't speak English, right? Or there's a certain accent. So the exclusion to that data is big, and that's where we hope to step in and really, as an enabler, put Africa on the digital map of AI.
Well, I mean, I think
sorry, Nick.
So go on, yeah, please.
I think that's, yeah, sure. I think that's what makes our business model really quite effective and impactful, especially in the NLP sector, because I mean, we do work with professional experts that have been working, you know, in pretty high level state enterprises in terms of translations and transcriptions. But when we talk about, you know, being the first township-based data labeling company in Africa, I think that's a real prime position, because people who do come from disadvantaged areas are the ones who speak our vernacular languages the best. So, you know, when Esther refers to, you know, creating data for Africa by Africa, I think Enlabeler has really positioned ourselves quite appropriately in the most impactful and relevant way, because we're really getting the experts in those languages, right? So, yeah, I think it's a really great position to be in.
Yeah, I mean, I love your background. I don't know, is that a real background or a digital one? Mine's one that you can touch. I mean, we're in this virtual world. No one knows if we're in real world or not. If that is Esther's real house, you know. But yeah, you're in a really exciting space. And I mean, if we were just to wrap up, I mean, I think Enlabeler is really setting a benchmark for this sort of hybrid business model, a business model that's getting commercial clients which are paying, but there is this social benefit at the other end, and it's a real almost like textbook model, which I think many other companies should be thinking about globally, and not just in the Africa region. But there's nothing wrong with combining social and corporate profit driven entities into one model. So I think you guys are blazing a trail. So just to wrap up, what does the future for Enlabeler look like? Where are you guys heading? Apart from world domination, obviously.
Yeah, I think our aim, first of all, is to become the data labeling and data annotation platform of Africa, the #1 service provider for all the local clients that now often outsource the work to Asia, which is crazy. Well, there's so many people here that are extremely talented but have never had the opportunity to get access to certain work. So we can play a pivotal role in that. We have obviously our strategic direction we're heading to. We would like to build out our Enlabeler Annotate offering, because there's large demand for image annotation in the mechanical, in the mining, in the rail, in the road, in the infrastructure space. And then, as to Tumelo's point, the NLP offering, which is something that we are all as a team extremely passionate about. But we need to also bring the market up to a certain point that they are ready to roll with us. So yeah, lots of exciting stuff, upwards and onwards.
Well, that's great, guys. Thanks for joining us at the show on AI TV. I'll let you get back to the virtual show. I look forward to going around it myself at some point. I've got back-to-back interviews now. But Esther and Tumelo, it's great to have you at the show this year and getting your support. And I think you've been were you part of the Dutch Pavilion? I think you were. Were you in the Dutch Pavilion?
Yes.
Yeah. Great to be part of our new concept, which is the pavilions, where we've aggregated some of the smaller companies together. But yeah, thank you for coming, and thank you for taking a leap of faith during this COVID edition of AI Expo Africa. And it just leaves me to say thanks very much, and good luck with your business for the rest of the year.
Thank you,
What
Nick.
a pleasure. Thanks, Nick.